Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, May 1st. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. So what I'm going to start doing now, guys, is I set up a couple different charts here for a couple different strategies, because I know some people have been asking about a few different strategies like the SR rejection scalp, since we are getting closer to summer. And then I also marked up, well, I will be marking up a chart for liquidity pushes, because a lot of people have been asking about that. So I'll mark that up shortly. Just let me finish setting up this room, and then we'll get started with that in a few. Just keep in mind, guys, today's Monday. Mondays and Fridays are typically the riskier days to trade. Also, it is the first of the month, so a lot of new contracts are opening, and this is going to be considered, one of the riskier days as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this link, or send out this link, then you guys can join in to the premium. So 1 second, everything's pretty much set up now. There's a link for the Zoom. Perfect. Looks like we are good to go. All right, guys. Morning, everybody. I'll get a few moments for people to make their way, and I'm going to step away real quick, and I'll come right back shortly. Hey guys, morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 1st. Happy Monday, guys. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. Just a reminder, Mondays are usually one of the riskier days to trade, Mondays and Fridays, because a lot of people are re-entering the market from the weekend. Also, it's the first of the month, a lot of new contracts opening today. So another reason for you to be cautious in the market, because there's gonna be a lot of probably unusual movement. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, guys, on open, I'm going to open up separate charts. So I have a couple of charts here for the SR rejection scalp, because we are getting closer to summer. So a lot of people have been asking if I can, look at these types of entries as well. Obviously our main chart for the high low momentum scalp And then also a lot of people have been asking about liquidity pushes. So I'll mark up all those things here, and then we will get started shortly as the market opens in a few minutes. So let me go and check out news real quick. There's a lot of news today as well. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said, be careful, a huge Euro holiday as well. Yeah, so you probably want to be careful with that there, guys. See, question from Omar. Omar said that he said, did anyone else take the high-low momentum scalp at 6 o'clock? I wouldn't trade pre-market on Mondays, guys, because the market's not open yet. So you guys got to keep in mind, Mondays, I always mention that Mondays and Fridays are riskier days to trade. Monday, you definitely don't want to trade pre-market because the market hasn't fully opened. So there hasn't been any actual real movement in the market. That's why you're getting a lot of this unusual pushes back and forth. So I wouldn't have taken that trade there. Omar, I'd wait for the market to actually open, because then you'll see where the actual movement is going for the week. But as I mentioned, it's the first of the month. Also, it's Monday, and then on top of that, it's a European holiday. I think it's International Workers' Day today, so it's a holiday pretty much all over. Let me check the overall direction too. Overall, also looking over here at the overall direction, guys, it's pretty much bearish right now. So that's another reason why I probably wouldn't have taken it. There's bearish on the 10, bearish on the 5, bearish on the 1. If you can't confirm the direction of price, you can see over here during the at 6 o'clock where that entry came up, Omar, it's pretty much bearish across all time frames here for the shorter time frames. So another reason why to avoid it, but it's all good. Everybody makes mistakes. If you do want to trade pre-market or outside the New York session, when the volatility is low, you should at least check to see what the trend's looking like. So the trend here was bearish. So that's one of the main reasons I wouldn't have taken it. Price might be bullish on open. And here we go at the opening bell. Price is bullish and it's pushing up pretty heavily. However, as I mentioned earlier, it is a little risky because, the market's, it's Monday. So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of reasons why you probably shouldn't trade pre-market or after the live session on Mondays, because a lot of this weird stuff happens. Anyways, looking at the calendar over here, there's news at 6:45 and 7. So let me go and mark that up over here real quick. News over here at 6:45 and then 7 o'clock. I'll mark up this opening candle right here. Looks like there was a liquidity push right there, guys. If you guys have been following that, I'll mark up the areas of liquidity over here as well. Here's a clean chart. I'm going to mark up just a lot of things to look at here. Now that we're looking at different things in the chart, there's news, there's market open right there at 6:30 until 8. Price is still pushing up pretty heavily right here. If you guys remember, the way that I would mark up liquidity is I would go on the higher time frames, like the daily first. I'd mark up areas of liquidity right here. And then I would just go lower from there. So the daily, the 8-hour, even though these areas are probably not going to get touched, it's just better to identify, these higher time frames. So I'll look for liquidity areas here. And, if price does end up going to these areas later today, then, maybe possible entry for them there. There's an area of liquidity right there on the 1 hour, but that's no longer going to be valid because it's already touched. 30-minute. Yeah, there was a lot of areas of liquidity right there for a buy. So that's kind of what happened right there. Price just blasted right through it. I'll just mark it up right here so that you guys can see it. And then I'll just delete them when you go back on the lower time frames. But there were areas of liquidity right here that just got knocked out. Typically, when I mark up these areas, I try to do it before the live session. Today, I just didn't have time to do it because market opened super quickly. But it's all good. I just want to show you guys where these areas of liquidity are sitting. I typically go down to the 10-minute, and that's pretty much it. All right, so all the areas of liquidity have been marked up. Now I will go back to the 1 minute. And you guys can see this is where the areas of liquidity got knocked out, right down the middle here on open. So typically, if I was looking for an entry here, I would have had a buy stop waiting right there. And I would have just pretty much wrote it up. The reason why I wouldn't take this buy stop though is because, well, I would have taken it if it was bullish, but you can see over here pre-market, the overall, the buys for the short-term timeframes are not bullish. So even though we had liquidity right there, I probably wouldn't have taken it. If price pushes up higher from where it's currently at, so let's see, if this here stays bullish, as you guys can see, bullish, bullish, bullish. If this stays bullish, then I would possibly take the next area that it would hit, which would be up here. So if price was to reach this area right here, I'd put like a buy stop and I'd catch it for like, 100 pip move or something like that. Right here. So I'll keep an eye out on this right here and I'll come back and take a look a little later. But that's like the area where I would probably be looking to make entry if I did have the opportunity. So we'll come back. I'll leave this here. This is pretty much the chart for the liquidity pushes. And we'll just follow through as price continues to, obviously push up higher. Here's the clean chart. As you guys can see, there's not really too much going on over here. I'm going to go ahead and mark up the higher high zone right there so that you guys know where pretty much the ceiling's at. And here is the support. Here is the main chart. So we technically, no, we didn't. Price already broke past the levels right there. So there's nothing here on the clean chart at the moment, or no high-low momentum scalp. And let me just mark up the zones over here for the SRs. So it does not look like we're gonna have any SR zone entries anytime soon, but I'll mark up these zones over here so that when we do have them, it'll be available for entry. All right, so as you guys can see, the zones are so far down. I don't think we're going to have any zone entries anytime soon. So no SR rejection entries over here until price either establishes new zones around that area or price comes back and retraces. So nothing here for the SR rejections. Nothing here for our high-level momentum scalps. Not yet, at least. We do have a higher high right here, so price does come back down, possible entry for a sell. But price is consolidating right here, so it doesn't look like we're going to have anything to take at the moment. So there's a possible entry here coming up. But again, as I mentioned, guys, this isn't one that I'll probably look to take because price is consolidating right here. Typically, if we have a higher high and a sell momentum like that breaks and closes past pivots 1 and 2, then we'll have an entry here for a high-level momentum scalp. However, at the specific moment right here, I just don't have anything to take because price is going sideways. I don't like taking entries, even though it is, considered somewhat valid, because sideways markets are not markets that you want to trade in. It's not specifically for this strategy. If you're applying the SR rejection scalp, then sideways markets are okay because this strategy is meant for sideways markets. But for the high-level momentum scalp, you want to only take this if price is moving very directional. Looking over here at liquidity, still far from it. See if you can see it on the hourly. Okay. Make sure. Mark up the level over here so I can see where this is currently. Oh, that's so weird. I'm looking over here on MT4 because I was going to see if I can mark up liquidity. But for whatever reason, on MT4, price is actually past the level right here. It's not even anywhere near it yet. That is weird. This is why it's hard to take like trades because what I was going to do here, guys, was I was going to go to MT4. I was going to put a buy stop right here so that when price reaches that point, I can just enter it and then write it on further. But right now, it doesn't look like price is even near that's weird. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I guess I can't put a pending order there. I was gonna put a pending order for a liquidity push, but it's weird. All right, whatever. It's all good. I mean, I guess I could just watch it. Now I can't even delete this thing. All right, so price is pushing up a little higher right here, guys. There's no entries for us to take right now specifically, but price is pushing up a bit higher. Nothing over here on the for the high level momentum scalps, and then obviously nothing over here too for the SR ejections. I'll just leave these up, but I'm not going to really take a look at them because there's no point. Price so far away from it. We have a new higher high right here. All right, so just as I mentioned before, guys, there's a possible liquidity push up here on the buy side. Let's take a look at overall buys real quick to make sure everything here looks good. Let me take a look at my FX book to make sure there's no other news around this time either. 645, 7. That's about it. 630, 645, 7. We have some more news at 8:30, but we probably won't be trading at that time. All right, let's take a look at the overall buy. So looking over here at the fundamentals right now on CNBC, the Dow is currently up 67 points, S&P's up 3 points, Nasdaq's down 7 points, Russell 2K is up 17 points, and the VIX is currently up less than 2%. So it's somewhat bullish right now across the Dow and S&P. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 74% short. So this indicates that retail traders are currently on the short side. 74% of retail traders are currently on the short side. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. So this kind of goes hand in hand with our analysis with regard to looking for buys here. So fundamentals are pretty much bullish, neutral. Sentiment is bullish, and the technicals over here are currently bullish on the shorter time frames. They're pretty much bullish across all the time frames, actually. So the 1 minute over here is bullish because price is above the pivot. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Same with the 5, same with the 10, same with the 30, same with the 1 hour, and same with the 4 hour. So it's pretty much bullish across the board over here. So we may be more inclined to take buys today. There's a possible sell setting up right here. Those 30 seconds till close. Possible sell here if price does break and close past the pivots 1 and 2 with the sell signal. We have about 20 seconds left on here. I'm not too inclined to take a sell here. So if it doesn't close proper, then I'm fine with not taking it. I would prefer to take a buy here, but if it does close, that's what you want to look out for. So this candle needs to break and close past the blue pivot over here with the sell signal. If you guys are looking to take it, make sure the candle actually closes. So the candle right there did not close. There's a higher high right here. We have another pending sell signal right here. Again, it's another opportunity for entry here if price does break and close past pivots 1 and 2. But again, you guys want to make sure that you wait for the candle to actually close. Don't just hop into the trade without waiting for it, because the candle needs to break and close past pivots 1 and 2. It's almost at pivot 2 right here, and we do have the pending sell signal. So this signal has to actually close. News is coming up right here at 6:45, guys. It's really close, so I don't think I'll be taking it. I know typically we do ignore news, but for this specific news event, let me check real quick what it is. Final manufacturing PMI. It shows low impact, but I think it will affect the market slightly to some extent. Let's see. So this may be a valid entry right here. I think it's enough to probably at least get past it before news happens, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Okay, the candle actually didn't close right there, guys, so there's no entry there. So the candle did not close with the sell signal. It's right at the sessions right here, and it's really close to news price right now specifically. So fortunately, no entry there if you guys are waiting for that. And price did close below the pivot, so there's not going to be an entry there for a high low momentum scalp. So this is why I mentioned that you guys should probably wait for for some sort of confirmation there, because something like this will play out. All right. Let's see. Mr. Gibbs is asking, good morning, sign up for the live room. This is how I join every day. No, Gibbs, you're in the YouTube. You should be in the Zoom. So I sent you your links. I don't know if you joined the group. So if you look at your private messages, I sent you your private links to the groups. The link to the Zoom is posted in all the premium groups right here. It's right here in this group. It's here in this group, and it's here in this group. That's how you would join every day, Gibbs. You're in the YouTube. YouTube is a free live stream, but it is delayed, so you should be on the Zoom, not the YouTube. Let's see. Oscar said the candle closed for his chart, hit his full TP for himself. I'm not sure why it didn't close for everyone else. Which data are you using, Oscar? You're probably using a different data set, because for YM over here, the candle actually didn't close. You might be like on something else, like maybe currency.com or some other broker data. That's the only thing I can think of. Check your broker data to see what you're using. So I think that might be the case for you. All right, we got news candle over here pushing price around where it's currently at. Let's see where it ends up going. We're on this news candle right here right now specifically. There's no entries for us to take here yet, guys. Still just waiting for something here to play out. I'm gonna update this color right here to pink. Let's see what I'm missing over here. All right, so price is pushing up currently where it's at right now specifically. All right, so it looks like price is reaching this area of liquidity right here. I wasn't able to put anything there, but I just wanted to mark it up to show you guys. There's a possible area of liquidity right there that's getting knocked out. I don't even know what level that's at, but it didn't break past it. It looks like it barely touched it. But that would have been an area of liquidity to look out for. There's no other entries here yet, guys, so just don't worry about it. If you guys are getting confused, just let me know, because then I'll stop looking at these different charts. It's just a couple people are asking me about different entries here, because some people are looking for liquidity pushes. I know I'm going in between the charts really quickly. But there is I'm using this chart for liquidity push. I'm using this chart over here for the regular main high-low momentum scalp. I'm using this one over here for the SR rejection scalp, but there's no entries for that right now. See if there's anything else over here that I'm missing. I see a lot of messages here in the chat. See, Christian mentioned that there was a V1 variation. So there was, thanks, Nick, for confirming that. So there's a V1 pattern right here, but there is no pending buy signal. So there is no specific entry for a V1 variation. So again, guys, if you guys are getting confused, sorry, I know there's a lot of different strategies here that are being discussed. Our main strategy here that we're applying is the high-low momentum scalp. We don't have an entry for that right now. But this is the main strategy that we're applying on this specific time frame here. So we have this right here, and then also on the other time frames over here, I'll put the strategies on each chart so that you guys are aware of which strategy each chart is using. This is the SR rejection scalp. This is a high-low scalp, and we don't have criteria for the liquidity push, but I'll keep taking a look at that a little later. Anyways, here is our clean chart. As you guys can see, price is somewhat bullish, but it's not really having a pretty smooth stride. It's kind of just going back and forth a lot. Trying to see where we're currently at right now. So price is pushing up slightly. As I mentioned before, we have a bullish bias. So I'm not really too concerned about where price is going at the moment, but I do think price will continue to push up. This is for the liquidity. Yeah, so this is a liquidity markups chart. I think there's more levels above too. Or actually, let me check. Let me go on the higher time frames, 1 hour. Actually, this might be the highest level. Actually, there's more. If you go on the very higher time frames, there's more areas of liquidity above. But this is the closest one on the 1 minute because it's on the 1 hour. Price is currently pushing up right there. It's almost to its TP. So there you go, full TP on that liquidity push. So as you can see right here, guys, I marked it up for you guys. I mentioned, price was going to push up to that area. For whatever reason, my MT4 is like way off. So I was going to put a buy stop over here to catch this, but I couldn't, unfortunately. But yeah, there goes the liquidity push right there. So super easy strategy, guys. We already had a bullish momentum right there. I had the zone marked up right there. I mentioned price touches it, probably going to push up and hit its TP, and that's exactly what happened right there. So for you guys who are asking about the liquidity pushes, here you go. If you guys want me to cover it more in depth, I'll take a look at this during our mentoring session. So we have a couple options with our mentoring session for today, guys. I can't have it at 2 o'clock. I'll put some options in the chat. I have some stuff to do at 2 o'clock, but I can do it later on today if you guys like. So I can either do it today or I can do it tomorrow. So I'll go and put a post in the chat real quick. Let me see Oscar's markup first. So this is Oscar's. Okay, so what I can see from right here, Oscar, is that you're on a different data set. Which data set are you on? Because I can see right here it says Dow Jones Industrial Average. I'm assuming that you're on a different broker, like you might be on currency.com. That's why you have a momentum signal right there. The reason why I know that right there is because our name of the asset is different here. It's called E-mini Dow Jones. So we're on YM. It looks like you're on a different data set, Oscar. So that's all I can think of. That'll happen. So if you're on a different data set, like if you type in US30, you're probably on one of these right here, either currency.com, Blackbull, capital.com, 8cap, Pepperstone, etc. You're probably on one of these right here. So that's why your momentum signals look different from ours, because we're using YM. The reason why we use YM is because this data is directly from the exchange. So it's probably like the most accurate data you can find. But just looking at yours there, it looks like you're on a different data set. Oscar's asking, yeah, do you suggest moving over to YM over currency? I mean, it's really up to your preference. For me, I like YM because this data is directly from the exchange. The second best data is currency.com. We used to use currency.com for years. So I think they're fine. But what happened last year is that their data used to freeze up a lot. So, obviously we're scalping. We can't have data freezing up like that. And that's why I started paying for YM, which is directly from the exchange. So it's up to preference. If I wasn't using YM, I would be using currency.com. So it's really up to preference. But if you want the best data, I would stick with YM, obviously, because YM is directly from the exchange. and currency.com is from currency.com. They can create whatever data they like. All right, so we got price pushing around right here, guys. Let me go and just mark up the new high. We still don't have any entries, guys, so don't worry. There's no official entries for us to take here yet. Price is still kind of bouncing around a bit. We currently have a higher high right here, and we have a sell here that's coming down a bit. But, you know, as I mentioned, everything's very bullish right now, so I don't think I would really be too inclined to take a sell here. If the sell does come up, I'll mark it up for you guys. And if I do decide to take it, I'll let you know. But for the most part, I think I'd be more comfortable taking buys here versus sells. However, one thing to keep in mind is that price is a bit overextended. So this sell here might be enough to push to TP just for retracement. So this may be an entry right here. But you want to make sure that price actually comes down. You can see right here that price is starting to consolidate a bit. If price continues to consolidate, it's not going to be area for us to look for entry, right? Because I mentioned before, kind of like what happened here when price started to consolidate a bit, it just wasn't a good area for entry. So just, you know, pay attention to that there, guys. All right, let me scroll up real quick. See what other questions we have here. Question from Nick. Nick's asking, do you have to pay for currency.com? No, it's broker data, so it's free. It's just like the broker provides it for their users. So currency.com is free. Okay, possible entry right here, guys, for the sell that I was mentioning. Again, like I mentioned earlier, guys, you guys have to wait for the candle to actually close. There's about 13 seconds left on the candle. The sell signal could disappear at the very last second. Also, we have a very bullish bias, so this here might not be a great entry to take, but I will mark it up for you guys here. All right, so I didn't take the entry, guys. I was waiting for the candle to close. Price is kind of retracing up a little bit. If it comes back down, then maybe possible entry, possible late entry, but I'm not in this position right here. I just want to give you guys a heads up. This is an entry for a high level momentum scalp. We have the higher high right here. We have the sell signal breaking close past the pivots right here. The only problem with this here is that price started to consolidate right here a little bit. And then also on top of that, we have a very, very strong bullish bias with regard to retail sentiment, fundamentals, and technicals. So I'm not in this position right here. You know, I'll see if price comes back down. If price does come back down, maybe I'll put a buy stop right there, but I will let you guys know if I do that. I haven't done that yet. I'm just looking to see how price action is moving right here. If it continues to come back down heavy, then, you know, possible entry there for a sell. But right now, it's just not looking too good because we do have a very strong, you know, bullish bias. Let me see if I could put a buy sell stop right there. All right, let's see if I can get it in. All right, I got in, or let me see. I'm just trying to put it up right there. I didn't put it in yet. I was going to get in for a discount, but it's too close to entry price. I tried to put my sell stop there, but then it gave me an error because it's too close. Price is like literally on my entry point. So I'm not in the position yet, guys. Let me see if I get my sell stop here now. There's a lot of space. I just want it to be away from it. So if it does come back swinging down pretty heavily and violently, I can just get into the entry versus getting in right now and then having to hold on to and going to drawdown and stuff. So not in the position yet, guys. I'll put my sell stop here. If price ends up pushing above here, then I'm going to cancel it. So if price pushes past here, I'm going to cancel my sell stop. Not in the position yet, but I do have a pending sell stop there. Just waiting for entry right there. Price does come back down. So this is typically what I wanted to happen. I wanted price to push away from it so it doesn't trigger my entry too early. But now if price comes down very violently and continues back down, then it'll just fill my order and I'll automatically be in the position. Right here, I'm not in the position yet. So just another FYI, guys, not in this position for a sell. I gave you guys my reasons why I didn't decide to take it immediately. Price was kind of consolidating here a bit. And then also the bullish bias is just too strong, right? You look over here at fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently up 85 points. They're not very strong here with regard to fundamentals because in order for it to be strong, it needs to be above 100 points. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 74% short. There's a lot of retail traders here on the sell side, so I typically don't want to take trades there specifically. However, for the shorter term move like this right here, you know, I could be okay with that because this is a very short term move. It's only 100 pips. It's not necessarily like 1,000, like 1,000 to 500 pip move. So with this here specifically, I'm still looking for it to come back down. There's no entries here for SR rejection scalps. The zones are way down here. Looking over here at liquidity, there's no other liquidity coming up anytime soon. So closest area of liquidity is pretty far up. Let's see. I'm going to just price range this right here right now. Yeah, the next area of liquidity is very high up. It's about 2,730 pips. So it's got a while until it reaches that area of liquidity. So I don't think we're going to get any more liquidity pushes today. Liquidity just way too far. The next level right here is 2,700 pips away. So not really expecting any more liquidity markups or liquidity pushes. So I'll leave this alone. And we'll just focus on this clean chart here. And we'll also focus on the high level momentum scalp. So I'm still not in the position yet, guys. Waiting for it to come down from where it's currently at. I have a sell stop just pending right there and waiting. We've been holding on to this for a while now, or been waiting for it. So if it doesn't come down anytime soon, then probably just going to cancel it. All right, still hasn't filled yet. So I'll keep taking a look at this. I just got to keep looking at it because I'm not sure when it's going to actually fill, or if it even fills at all. But yeah, there's not really too much going on here. The range actually got tighter. So let me just update this real quick. All right, so the range is right here. Price wants to come back and retest it. All right, still watching this here. Position still has not filled yet, guys. We're getting close to news again right here, so I might just cancel it, to be honest. It's getting really close to oh, well, that was quick. Okay, it actually filled my order, went straight to my TP, guys. I forgot there was news right here, and it literally just spiked down and went straight to my TP within like seconds. There's a gap on MT4, but it didn't go. Oh, fuck. Let me check my copy real quick. 1 second. All right, let me close me out. Okay, perfect. But my copier will tripped out for a second. I just got a big red arrow on my copier. It said it couldn't close my positions out, but luckily price was still deep in profit, so it just closed me out for profit right now. Okay, perfect. Okay, I freaked out there for a second. Not sure if anyone was in that position with me, but it literally spiked right to our TP. My copier was not able to close it right away, but it did close it eventually. And okay, perfect. So not bad. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys here caught it with me. So if you guys caught it, great. That was a news candle. I wasn't expecting the news to happen so quickly, and then it just ended up spiking down. I was about to cancel it too because it was getting close to news, but luckily we held on to it and went straight to TP. So depending on where you guys made entry, I mean, it doesn't really matter because if you made entry right away, so I'm just going to put the markup again to where it was originally. This is where the markup was originally. If you took the sell entry here, what I did was I waited for price to come down a little bit and then I entered it late, but it just, it ended up filling my order and then blasted straight through to my TP. Gave me some slippage there, so it gave me some pretty decent profit. Yeah, that thing spiked like pretty heavy. Let me check the news real quick. All right, yeah, it was ISM manufacturing PMI. The news is actually neutral and positive, but price did the opposite. That's why I typically don't like to trade news because, or if I do trade news, I do the opposite of what's predicted. So like right here is predicting for it to be somewhat positive. It's actually very positive for ISM manufacturing prices. But yeah, this thing spiked down. It went straight to TP. So I'll give you guys a little update there. I'm only counting the trades that I'm taking, which is obviously that one there. And that's pretty much it. So a couple entries here that came up, guys, as I mentioned earlier, there was a liquidity push that came up right here for a buy. And then this is the first official entry for the week, the high level momentum scalp. Yeah, it was a pretty smooth push. Looks like a lot of you guys here took it. Andy took it. Christian got it, jumped to his TP. Vince caught it. Jean said done for the day too. Slippage got me at 2.1%. Nice. Yeah, some slippage got for me too, Jean. I actually locked in, I was supposed to lock in 3,000. I got 3,860 on my end right here. So what I'll do here, guys, is I took some pre-market trades. So I'm just going to screenshot the trades that I took here on the live. I actually took partial of the liquidity push over here. I didn't get the full TP because I got in kind of late, but I did get partial move on that trade there. So let me just go and take a screenshot of my profits real quick. All right. So I took about 3 trades here on the live. I'm only going to count one, obviously. Took 1 trade during pre-market too. I'm not going to count that because we always get certain people complaining about me trading outside the live session. So I don't even want to bother showing you guys what I did during the Asia session. Another reason too is that I don't like showing you guys profits during Asia because I don't want you guys to get FOMO and want to trade during Asia, because Asia is not it's not a good area to trade, or pre-market, it's not a good area to trade. It's just too risky. So unless you guys are good at trading Asia, I wouldn't recommend it. So I don't like showing you guys my profits during Asia because you guys are going to start to get greedy and you guys are going to want to take trades during Asia and it's not going to end well. So another reason why I don't like showing you guys my other trades. But even though I'm showing you guys these trades, guys, only one of them is going to count, the most recent one. So let me just post on my profits real quick. I really just want to show you guys the last one, but it's like impossible for me to just screenshot one. So that's the wrong one. All right, let me just go back to the charts real quick. There's not really much for us to look at right here. Price is kind of just coming down. We're looking for a new lower low to get established, and then from there, we'll be looking for it to swing back up. Here's Vincent's profits. He locked in a total profit of 735 for the day, full TP. Nice work right there, Vincent. We got David over here, total profit of 25.20 for the day, all wins. Nice work, David. Here's Dejan. He got caught in that slippage for that sell, total profit of 2,370. Huge profit right there. Dejan, yeah, Dejan said slippage was crazy done for the day. Yeah, so he pretty much covered his profit goal of 1,000 and then some more on top of that. Here's Kenny, took that sell as well, total profit of 980, full TP. Nice work right there, Kenny. I'll come back to your question, Kenny. You got to look down the course, Kenny. So I'll just show you real quick because it's not too long. Kenny, I know you're here on the live, right? So Kenny, if you're here on the live, if you pull up the course, you just need to scroll down to the strategy. So if you scroll down right here, just look at the modules. So if you look over here at the modules, you scroll down a little bit, it says right here, K2 trades, SR rejection, scalp strategy. So it's like right down the middle, Kenny. You probably skipped over it or you just didn't look like, too closely, but it's like right there. It's basically above like all of the older strategies. All right, so let me just finish screenshotting. Sorry, I was trying to screenshot my my profits and then I just ended up screenshotting the wrong thing. For some reason, my MT4 showed me like old data. So I was actually screenshotting the wrong thing. All right, get this sparked up right there. All right, mother accounts. So there's still nothing for us to take right here, guys. There's a new lower low right here. So if price does push back above, we may have a possible entry for a buy. We have lower low down here. We have price pushing up. If we get a buy signal that breaks and closes past the pivots 1 and 2 right there with a buy signal, then we have a possible entry for a buy. We don't have one yet, but that's what it's setting up for right now. Let's see. Question from, let me scroll up real quick. Nick said he moved his stop loss super close right before that happened because in his head, it was either going to blast up to TP or stop loss. 1.4% day for him. Nice work, Nick. So Nick actually made profit off that last trade too, but he kind of cut himself short a little bit, but it's all good. I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry, of course. You know how that works. But yeah, no, solid work right there, Nick. $690. And I wish there was an easier way to pull out my MFFs. My MFFs they always confuse me because the account numbers are like way different. I wish there were like a way to put them in order. Like just rename your accounts on MT4, but you can't. All right, anyways, let me post up my profits real quick. Oh, fuck, I missed the trade. I don't know if anyone caught it. This thing happened too fast. I just missed the trade right there. I don't know if anyone else caught it. Yeah, Vince said he missed it too. I didn't think this candle was going to spike up like that, but I didn't even see that it pushed up. So this trade's already out, guys. If you guys took the trade, you should already be out in profit. There's no reason to be holding it right now. You can see right here, it blasted right through, went straight to TP. So nice. CJ caught it. D caught it. Omar said he's in. So hopefully yours closed out already, Omar, for your trade there. Yeah, D said he entered late, moved too fast. Tom said I was looking at it, but didn't hear it from me. So said, fuck it, I'm not taking it. Yeah, I mean, I would have taken it if I saw it, but I wasn't expecting this to spike up like that. This is normal for Monday. So as I mentioned earlier this morning, guys, Monday, you're going to see a lot of this like choppy, blocky movement. Blocky because like price will be moving super slow right here. And then all of a sudden at the very last second, price would just spike. So I didn't take the trade, so it's not going to count. Looks like a lot of you guys here did take it and you guys did make profit on it, whether it be partial or full. But yeah, one thing I'd recommend, guys, is to not get greedy, especially for today, because today is Monday. If this hits your TP, you have to pull out. You can't like hope that's going to push back up further and then get greedy and want to hold on to it for longer than you need to. For scalping, you want to be in and out of these trades super quickly, within 1 or 2 candles, if not more. But yeah, there's no reason to hold on to these and get greedy, guys. Like when you're scalping, you just have to get in and out. If it hits your TP, but not your TP on MT4, you have to, manually close out of the position. But unfortunately, I missed the trade there. It's all good. It happens. And I'll move on to the next one. So no entries for me right now, but we will be looking for, next possible entry when it comes time. Nice. Kevin caught it as well. Glenn's asking if the spread is too wide on FTMO. I think it's fine right now. It's 170, so it looks pretty solid for the most part. What I'm going to do tomorrow, guys, is I'm going to try to get on the live session a lot earlier so that I can mark up everything. We can cover everything so that when the market does actually open, we'll be ready to go. And we don't have to worry about missing out on anything here. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. Try to hop on a little earlier. I know I typically get on around 6:20. I'll try to get on maybe around 6:10, 6:15 so that we can mark up the liquidity zones and then pretty much go over all the charts so that you guys have everything and you guys are ready to go on open. Because I kind of got on a little late today, and then unfortunately I wasn't able to mark up all the liquidity zones before open, and I missed out on a lot of opportunities for buys. So it's all good. There's a new SR rejection zone right here. So I'll leave that alone for now. There's no entries for us to take right now, so there's not a big deal. Question from Omar. Omar is asking, do you trade Asia session every day, Sean? No, I don't. I rarely trade Asia session, if ever. Omar's asking, what days would you consider taking entries on New York session before equity open? I think that's a typo, right? I think you mean NYSE open, not equity. There's no specific days, Omar. Like you can't predict the market. I can't tell you, oh, let's trade on a Wednesday or oh, let's trade on a Thursday, right? You have to look at the market. If the market looks good, then you'll take an entry. So I don't recommend you trade any of those times ever, unless you're like, pretty confident with your entries. If you're asking me these types of questions, then you're definitely not confident with like trading outside the live sessions. So I wouldn't recommend it. If you do want to practice, you can always practice in Asia, or you can practice in pre-market, but you'd probably want to use a demo account because if you can't predict, if you can't determine, when's a good day to trade and when's not a good day, then you probably shouldn't even trade at all during those days. Just stick to the live sessions until you're comfortable. So what I'd recommend is, keep practicing and get comfortable with the markets. Because if you're not comfortable with it and I have to tell you when to trade and when not to trade, then you're not ready to trade outside of the live session times. If you do want to trade, just trade during the New York session. So either trade it in between, like during the live session times, or trade later on in the session. So middle of the New York session is usually not good. That's typically when people go to lunch, market starts to die down a little bit, a lot of consolidation happens. So like basically between 6 and 8, and then basically it's hard to tell because sometimes the market is still moving until like 9, and then sometimes it dies down and it starts moving from like 10 to 12. So like usually the sweet spots are like between 6:30 and 8, and then 10 to 12 or like 9 to 12, depending on how the market moves, because different people take lunch at different times, and it's not always going to be around the same every single day. So my recommendation is to don't trade during Asia. You can practice during Asia, but I wouldn't recommend trading your actual account during Asia session, because odds are you're probably going to eat up a lot of losses and you're not going to be profitable. Because what happens with a lot of people is you make profits with me here in the live session, then you decide to do your own thing after, and then you end up blowing your account. And then you ask, how did I blow my account? And then I say, hey, show me your account. And I'm like, okay, you took all these trades outside the live session. That's exactly how you blew your account. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you guys, I would recommend journaling. A lot of people don't recommend people journal, but journal your trades so that you know when you lose. And I'm pretty sure if you journal your trades, most of your losses happen when they're not with me. Whenever you guys make wins, are typically going to be with me during these live sessions. And a lot of your losses are probably going to be outside the live session, or because you're doing your own thing during our live sessions. So just keep that in mind, guys. You guys should always journal. That's the only way you'll get better, because you have to learn from your mistakes. So anyways, I don't know if I posted my profits yet. Let me just do that right now. So here are my accounts so far. I'm actually doing pretty good today. Overall. So there's only one of my trades that are going to count towards the official entries, which is the one that we actually took. So the trade that we took over here for the sell, this is the only one that I'm counting towards my official trades, because that's the one that was an official trade. That one was a high level momentum scalp. Sorry, this is the wrong strategy. My bad, guys. There we go. So the only one that's counting is this last one over here that hit full TP. So you can see right here, I locked in 3,860. I got slippage on that sell. You can see the sell right there. That's a sell entry. The other entries I took here were the liquidity pushes. And then I forgot what I took over here, but I took something else. I can't remember what I took. I took some other trade there. I can't remember what I was trying to think about what I took. I think that was an earlier liquidity push. Let me check the timestamp. 6:45. Yeah, I don't know. I took something over here, but I forgot what it was. But anyways, those are my profits for the day so far. If you add up all my profits across all my accounts, It's pretty solid right now, but I'm only counting this last one. So this last sell right here is the official trade. 3,800 on my F2 number one, 3,680 off my F2 number two, 1,690 off my MFF number one, 1,690 on my MFF number two, and 1,690 on my MFF number three. So these are all the trades that I've taken during the live session time. I'm still thinking about what I took here on the first one because I made a pretty decent profit on that too, but I can't remember what exactly. Or you know what? So I think what happened here was I'm looking at the timestamps of the trade. These are both liquidity pushes. So we had the initial liquidity push that happened on open, and then we had the other liquidity push that happened right here that I had marked up around this area. So basically 2 liquidity pushes and then 1 high-level momentum scalp. Still looking for another one here, but we don't have anything yet. There's a new higher high that was developed right here. Mark that up. All right, looks good. So we got the higher high right there. If price comes back down, maybe a possible entry for a sell, but there's just nothing for us to take right now specifically. So we do have the higher high right here. If price breaks down and closes below the pivots 1 and 2 again with a sell signal, possible entry for a sell. I personally don't like how the candles are moving right here. You guys can see prices consolidating sideways. As I mentioned before, guys, this isn't a good sign if price starts to consolidate. If it pushes down pretty heavily from where it's currently at right here, then it's okay. But if it starts to consolidate here further, then it's not going to be a good entry to really focus on, because you don't want to get caught in the position if it ends up, you know, moving all crazy on you. Let me scroll up. So question from Omar. Omar is asking, I've had some solid entries before NYSE open last week. That's why I was asking if you would recommend certain days that work for you, taking certain entries at a time. But I wanted to confirm that it would just depend on market conditions. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, definitely, Omar. It just depends on market conditions, because typically in the past, usually the middle days are better to trade. And usually Mondays and Fridays are bad, right? So like typically I was mentioning to you guys that don't trade, or if you're not comfortable with it, don't trade Mondays and Fridays pre-market, because you get these weird movements. I still traded even though like it was weird movements, but I saw the volatility in the market. That's why I took certain trades. There's no entry right here, guys. So looking at this right here, there is no entry. The reason for the no entry is because this sell signal didn't break and close past pivots 1 and 2. It broke past pivot 1, but not pivot 2 right here. So with that said, there's no entry here. We have a higher high sell signal right here, but it did not break and close past pivot 1 and 2. So there's no entry here for a sell. We just got to continue to look for any other opportunities to appear here on the chart. But yeah, Omar, it all depends on market conditions, because the market this year isn't the same as it was during COVID, right? Like during COVID, you could trade pre-market and the market would be perfect because there was volatility all day long. Like you can literally trade outside the live session, like random time, like at night, and the volatility would still be very high. Now the volatility is not as high. There's some days where it'll be higher than others, but there's gonna be some days where it's super flat. So, you know, you have to analyze the market to see if there's any opportunity to take entry, because usually if the market's moving slow, the spread's super wide. So it's like around like 300. It's usually like around like 300 around there. So you'd have to cover the spread, and you still have to cover your profit if you did decide to take, you know, a trade during Asia session. All right, let's see. Question from Omar. Omar is asking, the candle needs to close past pivots, pivot 1 and 2, or either single pivot? No, it needs to cross either 1 and 2 or just 2. Because for example here, so for example, if there was no sell signal right here, Omar, it would still be below pivot 1. But if there was a sell signal right here, it'd be crossing past pivot 2. So it needs to be either cross pivot 1 and 2 or just 2. Right here wouldn't matter because it doesn't cross either of them, right? For the sell signal. Just look at the requirements here. So it says right here, confirm price breaks and closes past pivots 1 and or 2. So it can do pivot 1 and 2 or just pivot 2. So it has to be both of them technically. But price can technically close below pivot 1 and not close below pivot 2 without the sell signal. But this one right here did close with the sell signal, so it doesn't meet criteria at all. All right. Oh yeah, no, Omar said got it at the end or threw him off. Yeah, so it's either 1 and 2 or just 2 because it can technically close below pivot 1, but it doesn't always need to close below pivot 2. So yeah, but for the most part, it needs to cross both of them basically. You're just looking for a swing between the pivots. So like swing below, swing above, swing below, swing above. And that's kind of like what you're aiming for there. So still no entries here for us, guys. I mean, price is still going back and forth. There's no new lower low. In order for us to take a buy here, we need to have a new lower low. So we need this here to establish and then come back down and then establish a new lower low below that point. But there's nothing right now specifically. All right, question from William. William's asking, all of these are being copied on your trade copier. If I was to do this, what would you use as a master account to be copied to the slave accounts? Do you use a personal account as a master? No, I use my FTMO number 1 as the master, William. You can use whatever account you want. It doesn't matter if it's an FTMO or you can even use a demo account if you want. What I've told people in the past, because a lot of people have this problem where they can't trade on a live account. Like if they're trading on a demo, they're doing really good. But if they go to a live account, they start to like lose every trade, right? Because their trade psychology gets all screwed up. So what some people do, William, is they'll trade on a demo account and then they'll add the real account to a copier. So like whatever they do on the demo, it copies to the real account so they can actually do well, right? So if that's your problem, I'm assuming it's not your problem, but if it's your problem, that's something you can do as well. But it doesn't matter what your master account is. For my master account, it's my FTMO. That's why it has a green strip right here. See how there's a green strip? That's because this is the master account. These over here have full TPs, but there's no green strip because these are copiers. So you can see over here, there's just one account with a green strip. This one, because this is my main account. This is my FTMO. This is my FTMO number 2, no green strip, but it did hit pretty much the same profit. Same with my MFF here, full TP, but there's no green strip because these are all the slave accounts. So it doesn't matter. You can use, I mean, just wouldn't matter because, so what happens with your copier, guys, and I get this question a lot. People always ask like, what does the copier do? All it does is it copies whatever the main account's doing. If this account's entering a trade, then these accounts are entering a trade as well. When this account exits the trade, that's when these exit as well. So it doesn't matter what type of account you have for your master. If you hit buy or sell on your master, it's going to hit buy or sell on your copiers. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if the price is different. It doesn't matter if the spread's different. It's just going to enter and exit your trade at the same time. So that's how you would use the copier. But if you guys want to use a copier, make sure that you're actually profitable. Because if you're not profitable, you're just going to blow all your accounts at once. That's another thing that I need to like warn everybody of, because I feel like a lot of people, they think just because they have a copier, they're going to make like a ton of profit. But if you're not even profitable on one account, there's no point in starting a copier, because it's you're just pretty much doubling your losses. If you're losing every single trade, you're just going to like double your losses, if not quadruple them on all your accounts. But like for me, I'm winning my trades. So like when I win the trades, they're just pretty much, they're just duping on every other account. So it just makes things a lot easier. Ruin said, thanks, Sean. Have a great day, everyone. All right, Ruin, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Party said, Sean, FTMO printing money every day, tap in the likes. Thanks, Party. Yeah, no, definitely. Hopefully everyone else here is profiting too. I think everyone else here is doing pretty good. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free to send them in. David over here made some more profit. He's up 1140. So he's currently up about 36.60 for the day. Nice work, David. If you add in your old profits with this one right here. We got Christian over here. He said just got back from a mistake that he made. So looks like Christian over here made a small mistake earlier today. 638 on open. A small loss, but he bounced right back. Total profit of 280 for the day. So nice recovery right there, Christian. If you decide to keep trading, just make sure that your trade psychology is on point. If you feel like you're FOMOing into trades or you're just not following your strategy properly, then I would probably either switch to a demo account or just stop trading for the day. Just want to make sure that you're on point. That's another thing that I have to warn you guys. Like if you guys are ever trading and you guys start to feel like something's not right, then I would recommend to just sit out the market, because your trade psychology is pretty much going to control everything. If your trade psychology sucks, you're going to start losing trades, and that's definitely not what you want to do. So just keep that in mind, guys. Trade psychology is pretty much everything. If you guys have your strategy set up, you have proper risk management, you have everything lined up. You know, it doesn't matter if you have all that stuff lined up. If your trade psychology is off, you're probably still not going to execute properly. So something for you guys to, you know, obviously keep in mind. I think I always tell you guys that trade psychology is like number one, because you guys have my blueprint here. Like you guys know exactly what I do. You guys know all my strategies. You guys have my indicators and all that stuff. And you guys see me profiting along with everybody else every day, right? So if you guys are not profiting, so if you guys are not profitable and you guys have been part of the group for a while, you guys have to take a step back and figure out what you're doing wrong. Because every day people are profiting. You know, I trade live with you guys. I show you guys like literally all my live trades. And there should be no reason for you not to be profitable. So if you guys have a problem with profitability or consistency, just, you know, either reach out to me or come into the mentoring session so I can help you. Because if everybody's profitable and you're like the one person that's not profitable in the group, you're probably not doing something right. And the good thing about that is you can fix it. You just have to like actually, you got to be real with yourself and you got to like figure out what your problems are so that we can solve them. Let's see, question from William. William says, so you have your FTMO account pulled up on your MT4 on your desktop and you're trading from that, which is then copied to the other accounts. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. William, I just have one account that's logged in, and whatever that account does, the copiers copy exactly that. If I hit buy on my MT4, it's going to buy also on all the other accounts. If I hit close, it's going to close on all the other accounts as well. That's basically what the copier does. So I just have one account. I don't look in it. So I never look at these other accounts. The only account I'm looking at right here, William, is this one. The one with the green strip. This is the only one that's logged in onto my MT4. Everything else is just on the virtual server. So I don't look at any of these accounts. All I do is I look at them for the profits, but I don't necessarily look at them at all. Van Hartwig said it also copies TP, stop loss, etc. I don't use that feature, but yeah, that is a feature that they have. Because it wouldn't really matter if you have your copier set up, it's gonna execute the same time. So you don't really need to copy TP stop loss. It just copies what, because it wouldn't matter if I have a TP set on my main account and it copies over to my other accounts. Even if I close my main account, it's going to close the other account. So the copy TP stop loss is kind of irrelevant as long as you have everything set up on your main account. All right, there's no entries here yet, guys. Price is still kind of going sideways. There's no higher highs or lower lows. There's a high low in between. In order for us to have an entry here, we need to have a new higher high or a lower low established. It's 7:30 right now, so we have about 30 minutes still in the market. So we have a lot of time. There's no rush. We just need to wait for an opportunity here to come up. Looks like the range is getting a little tighter though, which is a good thing. Let's see, question from Christian. Christian's asking if you guys can correct me. There's a V1 variation that hit TP. There was a sell right here, Christian, but that's not a V1 variation because the overall bias is bullish. So, I mean, I'll put the criteria here for a V1 variation. First step is to confirm overall bias. Overall bias here is bullish, so you wouldn't be looking for a sell here. But I'm assuming this is the one that you're referring to because there's no bias here. So there's no V1 variation down here. There's a double body right here, which would technically be considered a V1 variation, and it would have hit TP, but it's not one that we would have taken because step one wouldn't have been met. Yeah, just go back and review the strategy, Christian, because I think you're skipping steps. Like the main step right here is confirm overall bias. Retail sentiment's bullish, fundamentals are bullish, technicals are bullish, everything's bullish. So there would be no reason for you to look for a sell there. The old strategy didn't have that, but you weren't here during the old strategy, Christian, so I don't think you'd know that. But like the old strategy didn't have the overall bias. The reason why we put this here is to increase probability of wins. So you have to confirm the overall bias. There's no reason to look for any sells here for any of the other strategies. The only strategy that you look for a sell would be the high-low momentum scalp because this here doesn't require overall bias. It doesn't require bias at all. So this is the only strategy where you wouldn't be looking for fundamental confirmation, retail sentiment, or technicals. All right, let me see if there's anything else over here real quick. Right. Omar's asking, hey, Sean, have you ever considered opening other FCMO accounts under family spouse's name? Do you think that would violate guidelines? Yes, it would. I've done that before and I've got my accounts banned. So no, it doesn't work. So there's they have a system to cache it. Like you can't have, well, I mean, it wouldn't matter. Your family members could open the accounts, but you can't set a copier to it because the copier leaves a footprint. So like they'll know who's copying the account because I've done that before. I've opened an account for myself. I've opened an account for like my mom and stuff. And like it was working for a while until they pretty much got flagged that I was copying the account, the trades. So you can't, it wouldn't work on the copier. You can only have the copier set to like your own accounts. Omar is asking, but no issues with trading your accounts with social trader tools? Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, there's a max amount of accounts that you can have, Omar. You can have like max allocation of 400K. These two are 200K accounts. So I already have 400K on here. You can't get anything more than 400K. So if I was to open a third account, that'd be in violation of the guidelines. So you can trade your own accounts. You just can't trade over the maximum. So you can't just like open another name. Like your name's Omar, and then you're going to say, okay, now I'm not Omar. My name is Sean. I'm going to open another account. You can't do that because they need to check your ID. I don't know if you've ever been funded, but when you get funded, they do a KYC check. So they'll get your ID and stuff, and then they'll get your IP address and all that stuff, like pretty much LinkedIn. FTMO has been around for a long time, guys. So like, you're not going to be able to outsmart FTMO. I've already tried to do it a lot of times in the past. I've tried to make multiple accounts. I've tried to change my IP address. I've tried to do a lot of things so that I can just add more accounts to my copier. But they've caught me like almost every single time. So it just wouldn't work, and I wouldn't recommend risking it with FTMO. Yeah, I can't imagine getting blackballed by FTMO. If you get like pretty much banned from FTMO, it's going to suck because they're like the best funding company to use. So I wouldn't, I personally wouldn't risk it. Yeah, exactly, Sisu. Yeah, I remember that the day that they caught me because they sent me this email and said I was in violation and they were going to pretty much revoke all of my funded accounts. And I was freaking out because I had like 6 funded accounts. I had like 2 accounts for me, I had 2 accounts for my mom, then I had 2 other accounts on top of that. And then we just ended up agreeing to like pretty much I forfeited like basically 4 of the accounts and I kept mine too. Yeah, exactly. Omar said, yeah, definitely. Otherwise they won't pay you out. Yeah. Yeah. So if you have like, from my understanding, you can't have like more than your max allocation to like one address. So like you said, Omar, like you were asking like if you could add your spouse to it. If they're living with you, then you wouldn't be able to add them because they'll trace the trades coming from basically the same IP address. I tried using a VPN, but I don't think that really worked either. Sorry guys, I know we're kind of going off track here, but there's nothing for us to take. So like looking over here right now, currently there's no high level momentum scalps. In order for us to have an entry, we need to have a new lower low or a higher high. Looking over here on the SR rejection scalps, there's another zone right here, but it's kind of far from where it's currently at. So there's no entries for us to take here anyways. Yeah, there's nothing to take right now. For the liquidity markups that I marked up earlier, the next liquidity zone is still very far away. It's still about 2,000 pips away. So there's no liquidity pushes coming up anytime soon. Here's a clean chart. As you guys can see, price is pretty much just ranging between both of the zones. There's the higher high right here and the lower low down here. Price is pretty much just bouncing back and forth. There's just no opportunity for entry here. So there's a clean chart. As you guys can see, there's no direction. Price is pretty much just going back and forth from where it's currently at. Just sitting right there and going back and forth. 7:38 right now. We have about 20 minutes till 8. So we still have opportunity for entry here, but we don't have anything for us to take. In order for us to have some sort of entry, again, we need to have a higher high that's established or a lower low, which we do not have right now specifically. No entries here for the SR rejection scalp either. All right, so let's take a look at the overall bias again. I just want to make sure that we have everything marked up here and we're all on the same page. So looking over here at the fundamentals are currently up 95 points. For the Dow, they're up 6 points. For the S&P, down 6 points. For the NASDAQ, up 7 points for the Russell 2K, and the VIX is currently neutral right now. So with that said, we currently have somewhat of a bullish bias here with regard to fundamentals. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 74% short. This indicates that 74% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. So we have a bullish bias here for sentiment, bullish bias here for fundamentals. Looking over here on the technical side, we also have a bullish bias. As you can see right here through the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10-minute time frames, these are the shorter time frames. You can see price is above the pivots, trend meters green, and the pivots are all angling up. So this indicates that we're in a very strong bullish bias. And bullish trend for the shorter time frames. Looking over here on the higher time frames, we also have a bullish bias. As you guys can see, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour time frames are all above the pivots. Trend meters green, pivots are angling up. So it's pretty much strong bullish across the board. We have a bullish trend here, very strong bullish trend, bullish fundamental bias, and retail sentiment is very bullish as well. So we're obviously looking for buys here, if possible. Not necessarily for sure, but if possible, we're probably going to be looking for buys here. I'm not going to shy away from sells, but for the most part, I will be looking for possible buys here as price continues to push up higher from where it's currently at. There's a possible SR rejection scalp entry coming up right here. Not one I would personally take myself, but I just wanted to show you guys there's a possible entry right here setting up. So looking over here at the criteria. So first, you want to confirm that you're trading in the direction of the trend. Price here is obviously in a bullish trend. We just covered that. Identify a bottom wick rejection off the K2SR V2 zone with a moderate green candle. So looking at this right here, we have a rejection off the zone, but it's not a moderate green candle. In order for it to be moderate, there needs to be little to no wick on the top side, and it needs to push through pretty strongly. Basically a strong green candle. Green candle with little to no wick on the top side. That didn't play out right there, so there's no entry. But this right here is it's possible setup for an SR rejection. I'll keep coming back to this and taking a look, but at the moment right now, there's nothing for us to take right now, or even anything for us to look at specifically. Let me check the zones real quick if the zones are still there. So that zone up there is actually not there anymore. There's actually no zone right here. So it does not look like we're going to be getting anything anytime soon on this time frame either. All right, this right here is a lower high. This is not a higher high, so this will not be an entry. We have a pending sell signal here with a sell momentum candle, but this right here is not a higher high. It's currently a lower high. So it's not going to be any opportunity for entry yet. Price is ranging right here. There's no liquidity coming up anytime soon. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back and I'm just going to see if I can update the liquidity zones. Obviously, nothing on the daily, nothing on the hourly, nothing on the 30, nothing on the 15 yet. That's confirmed. This may be a possible level, but the candles have not moved enough in order for us to confirm it just yet. So that's a possible liquidity zone right there. I mean, we might have to give it some more time for it to establish further, but right now specifically, that'd probably be where it's currently at if price does end up coming up to that point. Let me see where it's at. Right, there goes liquidity right there as price touches it. That's price pushes through right there. So it's not a strong liquidity area because it's like on the 10-minute, but that'd probably be the closest thing to come up right now. So this is like, that's the closest high. So like what I was looking at right here is if anyone was taking any sells, this is basically where a lot of stop losses are probably sitting at the moment. So that's kind of where I would identify liquidity. So price was to knock out everyone's stop loss, it would like blast right through and then get to that, next area up there. The next area though is kind of high. So this is the nearest area of liquidity and it hit my TP. So just hit my TP, guys. I don't know if anyone else took it, but I took it. I'm not going to count it as an official trade because this isn't one of the official strategies, but you guys can see how lucrative this is, right? I pretty much identify where everyone's stop losses are sitting, full TP on that liquidity right there. I'll take a screenshot of my profits, but I'll do this in the next session. So in the next sessions, I'll get on a little earlier and I'll mark up all liquidity zones so that you guys can take these on open, because on open is usually where you get a lot of liquidity. You get those big spikes around and easy entries for you guys to like lock in profits. So I'll just put this up over here real quick in the chat, just so that you guys know what entry was taken on that. Full TP. Pass to. Yeah, so that's what we took right there. So that's what I took. I'll take a screenshot of my profits. There's no other entries, so I'm not going to count that as an official entry. I did tell you guys that, the only ones I'm counting as official entries are these high-low momentum scalps, but you guys saw me kind of analyzing it. I marked it up, told you guys this was going to play out. I said if price reaches this point right here, it's going to push by at least a little bit because it pretty much knocked out all of the stop losses right here. A lot of people who are entering sells, they put their stop losses right here. It triggered their stop loss, liquidity pushed to the upside and gave us enough push for our TP. So I'm not going to count it as an official trade, but I did take a trade there. So I want to be transparent with you guys and show you guys my profits from that trade. It's not going to count towards official trades though. So for the results, it's not going to count as any of the trades. And you can see over here, price is pushing up higher. This is why it's important that you guys look at the overall bias. So I told you guys price was bullish, right? And look what price is doing. It's pushing up super nicely. We covered everything here. There's pretty much just three bases to covering overall bias, guys. Fundamentals, very bullish right here. You can see it's now currently up 137 points. I already knew that was going to happen because it was at 95 points when I looked at it earlier. So when price pushed up higher, I already knew I was going to get a strong bullish bias. Looking over here at sentiment, I'm doing the opposite of everybody. All the retail traders are currently selling right now and they're getting stopped out. This price just continues to push up higher and higher. So with that said, I cover all bases here. I cover fundamentals, cover retail sentiment to look at where retail is trading. And then I also look at technicals over here, which were very bullish. So super solid move right there. But there's no official entries for us to take at the moment. There's just one official entry that came up. If you guys want to be conservative and you guys want to stick to like only the best types of entries, then just stick to the official entries. I will be covering other strategies here because, the market does get kind of boring sometimes. So obviously I have like a whole tool chest of like 30 different strategies and they all work fine. So these are my main strategies here that I'll look at. High-low momentum scalp, liquidity. I'll look at high-low scalps on here as well because they just go hand in hand with each other. And then on top of that, we have the SR rejection scalps over here as well. So another zone right there. Looks good. And I think that's it for right now. Let me see if there's anything else for us to look at. Okay, we currently have a higher high right here. So with this higher high, if you get a sell signal that breaks and closes past pivots 1 and 2 right here, then possible entry for a sell. That's one thing to look out for right there. But you want to make sure that it actually pushes down and it doesn't consolidate on the way down. So you want it to be pretty smooth. Yeah, exactly. Van Harwig said Kodi Kai gadgets. Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of strategies here, guys. So like, there's a lot of different opportunities for you guys to take entries. See if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Nice. C6 hitting high, both liquidity and the high low. Amazing. Thank you. Definitely C6. Nice profit there. David said, thanks for your wisdom, Sean. All the live sessions are worth gold. See you tomorrow. Definitely, David. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Anything else here? All right, let's see some questions over here from Glenn. So Glenn's asking, does a 730 candle fit the criteria for a momentum scalp? 730. Let me check. Let me turn on the gold bars real quick. I don't think so. So, all right, there was a buy signal right here at 730. Let me check real quick over here. So there was no buy signal here on the 5-minute that closed yet, Glenn. So there was no entry there for a momentum scalp, but there was an entry there for a pivot scalp. So momentum scalp requires that you confirm momentum on 3 different time frames. You didn't have that there because there's no gold bar. But there was an entry here for a pivot scalp. So price was above the pivots, trend mirror is green, pivots are angling up. It's the same strategy, it's just there's less requirements to it. So the 1-minute pivot scalp right here. Confirm overall bias, we already confirmed that it was very bullish. Confirm valid momentum signal, right there, valid buy signal. Confirm price is above the pivots for a buy, it was above it. So that'd be a pivot scalp entry, Glenn. Same strategy, it's just less requirements. They just look for different things. Some of them require more requirements, some of them don't. Pivot scalp is one of the more easier strategies because it doesn't require too many requirements, but it is also less, I wouldn't say less profitable, but it's there's more room for error there because of the lesser requirements. So yeah, no pivot scalp there, Glenn, but there was a pivot scalp. Satyam's asking, so Satyam said he got 6 wins and he's done for the day. Thanks, Sean. 726 V1, please confirm. So let's see, 726 over here. So I do not see a V1 over here. So I'm not sure. Let me see. You said 726, right? There's no V1 there because there was no high low on that candle. So in order for you to have a V1, it needs to be a high low. That's one thing that you guys need to be careful for too. I see a lot of people try to skip steps. I know it's harder for you, Simon, because you don't have the indicators, but there needs to be a high low at this point. This is a double body, but there's no high low, so that wouldn't have been an entry. It was also on news candle or news price right here too. See the pink line? For the V1 variations, you actually have to look out for the red flags. So if you're looking for any strategy except for the high low momentum scalp, you can't have any red flags in the area. There's a possible high low momentum scalp coming up right here, guys, but you guys have to wait for the candle to close. Also, it's kind of an iffy move here. As you guys can see how price kind of moved sideways and then it dropped down a little bit. It's not necessarily a straight push down. It's kind of a bit of some consolidation right here, and then finally a push down right here. But again, this candle here might not even close. So you got to wait for the candle to actually close below pivots 1 and 2 with the sell signal. About 5 seconds left on this candle here. It's not looking like it's going to close, so I'm not really looking to take this trade here. So it didn't close. That candle did not close. There's another candle here trying to make a second opportunity to drop down, but it has not closed yet either. So you want to wait for this candle here to break and close past pivots 1 and 2. And you also need that sell signal there. If there's no sell signal, no entry. Barty said, how do you get caught? You get caught because they catch you, because they have a system in place to catch you, Barty. They're not dumb. Like FTMO is not going to just not trace people's IP addresses and not trace like where similar trades are coming from. They've been around for a long time. So, you're not the first person to try to outsmart them if you're trying to outsmart them. There's a lot of other people that are way smarter out there that have tried to outsmart them in a lot of different ways through VPNs and through all these other ways of trying to create multiple accounts. But, they have systems in place. They're a company that's been around for I think they've been around since 2017 or something like that. So, I mean, I'm sure there's other people who have tried different, there's a lot of people in the past who tried a bunch of different ways and they found solutions to prevent people from getting away with that. And you wouldn't want to risk it anyways. If you were to risk it that way, they ban you from their platform, then you can't use FTMO anymore. So, I mean, you're kind of just, you're basically, if you're doing something like that, you're basically burning a bridge with a good connection. So there's different ways for them. I mean, you could just ask them yourself. If you want to go ask them, Barty, you can go on their FTMO website, hit that help button, and then ask them, hey, how do you determine if I'm making C60? Yes, please ask them. You can ask them directly, and I'm pretty sure they'll tell you. I wouldn't ask them because I don't want them to think that I'm trying to do something like that. But yeah, you can ask them, Barty, and then you can let us know what they tell you. And then we could discuss it here in the live session. But I'm not going to go and like put them on notice that I'm probably trying to create multiple accounts, because there's a lot of different ways to find it. I mean, they trace IP addresses, they trace, I know they have a system, and the only reason I know this, and this is different, not through IP addresses, but I know the way that they look at things, because I know people who own other funding companies, right? So there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of risk management teams, like different risk management protocols that they follow. They trace IP addresses. They also like have, they trace when people are taking like similar trades at the same exact price points. That's how they trace copiers. There's a lot of different ways to trace it. There's this thing called ChatGPT. You can type anything in ChatGPT and it'll answer whatever question you have too. So like AI is pretty smart. There's just too many answers I can give you, Barty. Like I could pull up if I wanted to pull up your information, Barty, I could pull up your information too if I wanted to, right? Like there's a lot of different ways to trace someone. Like there's hackers out there that can, like I can find out your IP address and then find exactly where you're living. Like people could do that. It's there's a lot of different ways for them to trace you. But yeah, that's just like a little like snippet of like what they probably do. I'm pretty sure they have more complex systems out there to identify things like that. So guys, over here, I have this high-low momentum scalp that is marked up. I'm not in this position right here, and it's not one that I'm looking to take. The reason, actually, I'm sorry, there's no entry there. I just realized there's a high-low right here in between. So there is no entry for this here at the moment. So we have a higher high here. We had a price breaking close past pivots right here with the sell signal, but we had a higher low in between. So there's no entry for us at the moment. But other than that, let's see, it's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I know we kind of went off track a little bit right now. Sorry for it just happens every day. Like we have like random topics that come up, and I know people are curious and interested about like these topics, but there's just a lot of things that we can discuss here in the live sessions. But don't worry, we didn't miss out on any other trades here. There's nothing here for the high-low momentum scalp. There's nothing here for SR rejection. There's nothing here for liquidity. Liquidity is pretty much done for the day. Next area of liquidity is like very high up. So maybe not done for the day, but the next area of liquidity is like way up here. And in order for us to get to that point, it's going to be about 2,200 pips away. So it's got a long way to go for, that specific area of liquidity. Let me see if there's another zone right here. No, so there's no other high lows that are available. There's a 10-minute one there, but it's too close. So we need to wait for that one to actually establish. All right, let me check the chat real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything before we call it a day. All right, so let's see. Satyam said, thanks, Sean, for confirming. I got FOMO. Luckily, it was profitable, not doing it again. Yeah, don't do that again, Satyam. I know a lot of people are getting FOMO because you're looking for entries here, but I'd recommend against it. So if you guys don't need to trade, don't force anything. It's not really necessary. Question from Glenn. Glenn's asking, is the 753 candle an entry for momentum scalp failure? You see 753. Yes, that would be a momentum scalp failure right there, Glenn, because there's a sell signal right here. I'll put the criteria for momentum scalp failure. Yeah, so confirm overall trend. Obviously, it's bullish. Confirm retracement, momentum signal right there. Let me check volume. volume was below average. So yes, this right here would be a momentum scalp failure, which went straight to TP. So nice catch right there, Glenn. So solid right there. With identifying that momentum scalp failure. I don't really apply that strategy too much. I think that strategy is a little too risky for me personally, but it does work very well, especially in a very strong trend like this. So nice work catching that, Glenn. Satyam said, bye guys, thanks for today. Definitely, Satyam, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Good profits. Let me scroll up real quick. Thanks, Kenny. Kenny said the Speaker of the House is speaking live right now. Edwin's asking, what was the question? The question was whether you can make multiple accounts for different people and trade them on your copier, which you can't, Edwin. I have a copier. So yes, they do allow copiers, but they only allow copiers for your own accounts. So this is my F2 number 1, and this is my F2 number 2. They're both 200K accounts, but that's max allocation. You can't take anything after that. So that's the thing. You can't like open like multiple accounts for yourself and then just have them under like different email addresses because they'll trace your IP address. They also will see that you're taking the same trades, across all your accounts. And I'll just flag red flags. They have systems in place that will like pretty much flag them when they see something suspicious happening. I only know this because I know owners of other funding companies. They use like more basic types of risk management teams, but FTMO, they've been around for a long time. So I'm sure they have a more complex process to identify these things. D said probably also MAC address, then run data analytics to high areas of fraud. Yeah, exactly, D, 100%. A lot of ways to do that. Barty's asking, you withdraw through USDT? No, I do a bank transfer, Barty. Straight cash, baby. I don't do any Bitcoin. I wouldn't do Bitcoin because then you got to pay charges for the Bitcoin. It wouldn't make sense. You just do a bank transfer. So when I get paid out through FTMO and stuff, I just do a bank transfer. It's like a wire. They do charge you a small fee, but I don't have to go through like Coinbase or stuff like that. Because then it takes time for it to transfer over. So I mean, it's an option if you want to do that, but I do bank transfer for mine. It just goes straight to my bank account. Nick said, watch out for D. Let's see. William said, Sean, these indicators I see on your screen are available for me buying more than the 75, correct? Yeah. So guys, if you guys want access to these indicators, because these indicators are very useful. I mean, depending on how you trade, it doesn't really matter because you can apply this for any type of trading style. So if you have a specific trading style that you like to trade and you need help on like improving it, you can sit down with me on a one-on-one, or we can talk during a mentoring session. And I can show you how these indicators can be beneficial to your trading strategy. You don't have to use my strategies. I've seen a lot of people in the group who use my indicators for their own strategies. I pretty much created every indicator for a specific reason. Like, for example, the pivots, they're identified to identify, I created them to identify bounces in price and also to identify trend. Obviously, the trend meter down below is for trend. Momentum signals here to identify when momentum swings up and down. Sessions are to identify session high lows to know when to avoid areas of trading. The zones here, I use the SR rejection or the SR zones. Basically, the SR zones are identified to, they're created to identify support and resistance. So they pretty much just automatically plot support and resistance for you. So every indicator I created here is for a specific reason. But if you guys like to trade support and resistance, I have an indicator here that automatically plots it for you. Same with momentum and same with trend. But in order for you to get access to that, William, just go on the website. It's going to be the strategies. So if you click on strategies right here, it'll take you to the page where if you want to upgrade to the strategies, where you'll have access to these indicators. I mean, because they're pretty useful. They're useful for a lot of things. Like if your problem is identifying support and resistance, I create an indicator for that. And then same with, like, for example, here, if you have trouble identifying high lows, I created the high low indicator. There's like certain things that I created to simplify my analysis. So instead of me having to like look at the chart and say, okay, this is a high, this is a low, this is a high, this is a low, instead of doing that manually, I just turn on my indicator. I'm like, oh, it's perfect. I already have my high lows perfectly plotted for me. And then same with, with the support and resistance. Like for example, here, if I wanted to identify where support and resistance is currently, I just turn on this indicator. I'm like, all right, cool. I got support right there. So now I'm just looking for something like this, right? I'm looking for price to bounce. So I have price break and close above it. Looking for that. Let me fix this. Yes, we kind of have price over here consolidating a little bit. I'm like, okay, if price bounces off the support, it's probably going to bounce again, right? So I see price come down, bounce, and continuation. So all my indicators here are used for something specific. Sessions, like if you want to see where price gets highly manipulated, you turn on the sessions indicator. You can see right here, we have the New York high, Asia high. And this whole area right here is areas for you to identify where manipulation is happening. You can see where the bounce is happening perfectly, right? So basically, whenever price gets near these areas, just don't trade. Price comes around this area, don't trade, because you see where price gets manipulated. Price comes back down in this area. Same thing again over here. So yeah, a lot of different things there to look at. All right, so one last question from CJ. CJ is asking, what time was the meeting today? So I'll give you guys two different options. Let me put a poll in the group real quick. When to host entering session today. Okay, one at, we do 5 p.m. today, or tomorrow, same time as usual, May 2 at 2 p.m. All right, guys, so I'm gonna put the poll right here. If you guys want to vote, feel free to vote. I'll just vote myself too. And then I'll leave it up for a couple hours, and then we'll determine, when you guys want to host the mentoring session. Because I can do it today. I just can't do it at 2 o'clock. I gotta do some stuff at 2 o'clock. But I will be here later today. So I can do it later today at 5 p.m. or tomorrow at 2 p.m. or tomorrow anytime, really. You guys just got to let me know when you guys want me to sit down for the session with you guys. Let's see. Barty said they didn't ask you for your interview. You making money, bro. Very few traders like you who are profitable. So they actually did ask me for an interview, but we just never followed up, Barty. So FTMO, if you have noticed, they haven't really posted interviews lately. They're not really interviewing as much as they used to, because they have more profitable traders now. But back then, there weren't really that many profitable traders. But if you look at their page, they've been more focused on like social media and stuff, not really like interviewing traders. They did take my interview, like they took the written interview. But if you guys go on their page, they don't really post the interviews as often as they used to. So FTMO did reach out to me for an interview, but we haven't followed up on like a date and time yet. But I think eventually I'll probably have it. I'm not in no rush. I also don't really want to be interviewed on FTMO too, because I don't really want to share my strategy to the public. So like, say for example, you see right here in our group, we have like maybe, less than 100 people trading with me using my strategies. If I go on FTMO and I get interviewed and stuff, then a bunch of people are going to want to learn my strategies, and I don't want to share my strategies with the public like that. Like I'm fine with like sharing with a few people, but I don't want to be sharing my strategies with like the world, basically. Because if people start using my strategies, they're not going to be as profitable as they are. So, C6 said the indicators are going to stop working. So I don't want too many people using my indicators. I'm fine with you guys here because there's only like a couple, 100 of you guys here. Like we could all make profit applying my strategies and applying my indicators. But if I have like thousands of people in this room and everybody's using my same strategy, it's not going to be as profitable anymore, right? So I kind of want to stay below the radar. But FTMO did reach out to me for an interview. I did say I was interested, but I didn't necessarily set up a time with them, because it's just going to be more work for me. If I have to create more strategies that work in the future, it's just going to be more work for me. I'd rather just focus on like this high level momentum scalp, this liquidity push, this SR rejection, just make as much profit as I can applying these myself versus, like a bunch of other people applying the same strategy. Because that's kind of what happens with like support and resistance, right? So you guys see a lot of people apply the same strategy. Everyone trades support and resistance. If you guys look at support and resistance, it doesn't even work that well anymore because so many people apply it. Same with like a lot of people like to trade what do they call it? Smart money concepts. If you guys look at that, that was like the wave like last year. Everybody was doing smart money concepts. Now that everybody started doing that, it doesn't work anymore. So everybody's kind of doing something else. So not that it doesn't work completely, but it's not as profitable as it was before. So, just keep that in mind, guys. You guys want to stick to something that not a lot of people are applying, because then you can stay under the radar and make profits like pretty much without anybody knowing. So yeah, no, exactly. William said, that's nice to hear you like keeping the group small. Yeah, because for me personally, I don't really like to teach anymore. I like to just make like my profits from trading. So I do have mentoring once a week, but I don't do one-on-one mentorships anymore. Before, people would pay me to do one-on-one mentorships, but now I don't even bother taking the money, because like people will pay me for the session, but I make way more money just trading. So I would just rather do that and not have the stress of having to teach people. So yeah. All right, guys. So I think that's about it for here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Again, I'm here to help you guys out. But I don't want to be helping out too many people. So that's why I don't really advertise the indicators or any of that stuff anymore. You guys are free to use them, but I'm not really looking to market this to like the public as a whole. It's just going to be more work on my side. I have to create new strategies, create new indicators, etc. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, if you guys are new here and you guys want to review any of the live sessions, just go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades. Anything with a blue background is going to be a previous live session. I've been trading live for like the past 5 years now. So we have like 5 years of live sessions that are available for you guys if you guys want to review my trading style, my strategies, etc. Anything with a gold background is everyone's profits for every single day. I don't think we've had like one single day where like someone hasn't profited in the past, 3 to 5 years now. So it's been pretty good and consistent. Anything with the green background is a mentoring session. Anything with red background is a strategy explanation. And that's pretty much it. So I'll leave this poll up right here, guys. Hopefully you guys can vote so that we can determine when we're going to have our mentoring session. We'll either have it today or we'll have it tomorrow. Some last profits over here. Eunice, total profit of 401 for the day. Nice work, Eunice. So we took the liquidity push and he held it a little bit longer. So nice profit right there on Eunice's side. We got Patrick Stevens over here, total profit of 2,079 for the day, all wins. Nice work right there, Patrick. Pretty solid. And here's Kenny over here. Kenny said, this is what I see as strategies go. So Kenny, I think you might not be looking at the right place. So let me see where you're looking at right here. So I'm looking over here at the SR rejection scalp, Kenny, and it's right in between how to create an alert on TradingView and in between overall bias. I'm looking over here and you're like nowhere near it. You're actually like way below. So I'm looking over here, you're looking at support and resistance, and support and resistance is like way down below. So scroll up, Kenny. That's where you would find the, is Kenny even here still? Yeah, Kenny, you're still here. So Kenny, I'm looking at your support resistance. You got to scroll down a little further, Kenny. Is this as far as you can go on here? Oh, you know what the thing is, Kenny? You don't have the indicators. I think that's the problem, because you need to have the indicators to apply the strategy. So you're on a different course. You're like on the free intro course, Kenny. Or I'll message you. All right, guys. So I'll just talk to you privately, Kenny, because you don't have the indicators, so you wouldn't even be able to apply the strategies anyways. But I'll talk to you directly, Kenny. And then if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. So, all right, Dan, we'll see you back here tomorrow. And I'll see you guys either today for the live mentoring session. I'll leave this up for a couple more hours. If you guys do decide today, I'll see you guys later today in a couple hours. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys in a few